Stephen, this is the first time we've caught up since the end of last season. How do you look back now on the way the team performed during the run-in?
Yeah, really pleased with the run-in. I feel as though we picked up some really big results at important times. It was obviously got really close down the bottom end of the division. There were so many teams down there that got into good form, so it was a little bit more scary than what we wanted it to be. But I think for us to pick up 21 points from the last 12 games was really pleasing, and we played well in that time and against some difficult opposition, as I've just said. So yeah, it was a pleasing way to end the season, and none more so than a 4-0 victory at home on the final day, and a performance before that as well against Argyle where we played really well. So two good home performances to go away with over the summer, and something to be optimistic about for next year.
What have you learnt about yourself over the last 6 months, and do you feel as though you've benefited from the experience?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. So it's been challenging, things that I've not had to deal with before in my managerial career. So yeah, that's all learning, and that will only benefit you in the long run. So I've learned that to stay calm. Now I've known all along people were going to say the championship was brutal. It's my first experience of the championship, and it was brutal at times. And you can go like periods of fixtures where you don't manage to get results, you don't pick up any points, and looking back again on the review, there was only Ipswich this year that didn't lose back-to-back games. So I've learned that even when you're having a tough run like we did, we lost 6 out of 7, even when you're having that tough run, try and stay calm and stay focused on what you're trying to do, because there was games in that run that could have been different. I'm thinking of the Birmingham City game, even at home, even the Cardiff game away from home, we should have won that game or at least got something from it. So in them tough moments, try and stay calm, try and keep believing what you're doing, try and stay positive, because this league is brutal.
How do you feel as though the players will have benefited from the experience?
Well, like any season, I think if no matter what type of player you are, if you're a young player or you're a senior pro and you've got experience, you learn from these types of seasons. Now, as I said at the end of this season, we don't want to be in this situation next year. There's things that we feel as though we can improve on as a team. There's things I think we can get right off the pitch that will help us to improve on it. And if we're all on the same page, it's going to need everybody pulling in the same direction. If we're all understanding of what the objective is, then we'll have a good chance of being successful next year, and that's what I'm desperate to do.
Do you feel as though they'll have benefited from the experience of playing under quite a bit of pressure?
Yeah, probably, yeah. As I say, because at times it wasn't easy, and we went through a difficult period, and to come out of that on the other side and then to finish the way you did, for the players in particular, that can give them confidence for next year, because it's not easy to play when it's difficult. It's not easy when things are going against you. You feel as though every decision goes against you, and every sort of half poor performance gets punished. But as I say, you've got to show some good character to come through them tough moments, and I feel as though that's what we've done. There's some obviously young players as well that we brought to the club only this year that will massively benefit from 12 months being in the championship, getting up to speed with it, and next year I'm sure we'll see them who did finish the season really strong. We see them players be even more successful next year.
How important is it then, like you've mentioned, because you've got quite a few players who are contracted to the club next season and moving forward, that you have that base from which to build on?
Yes, stability is key. I think a huge amount of turnover can be quite disruptive, and it takes time, especially for players if they haven't played in this country before, players who haven't played at this intensity before. It's quite difficult to adjust to. So having that 12 months experience, having the knowledge of now what the championship looks like is going to benefit us, and I'm really looking forward to getting the players back. I know we've only just finished, but I'm really looking forward to getting them back and getting a good pre-season under us and figuring out a way of how we're going to play, get the fitness levels and the intensity levels up to that intensity and that type of the style of team that we want to be able to do. And if we can do that from day one of the pre-season, then again it's going to be massively helpful.
Ender Stevens recently extended his contract. What did you see in him, particularly during the run-in, that makes you believe he's got a key part to play moving forward?
I think everyone's seen the quality that he's got. Now, I've known Ender Stevens obviously a long time and watched him play in the Premier League, and he's been an full international, and massively experienced player. It was unfortunate when we first came in, he just picked up an injury, I think in the previous couple of games, so we wasn't managed to be able to get him on the pitch until right in the running. So, but the way he played from the whole game onwards, he was a massive part in the team's success. His experience, his quality, his calmness, keeping the group nice and steady. Yeah, he was excellent. So when the opportunity was there to extend his contract, I felt as though I wanted to do that, because not only has he got all them qualities I've just spoke about, he's a really good person as well, and good influence on the dressing room. He's positive, he trains well all the time. So yeah, it was for me, it was a no-brainer, and thankfully he's chose to extend his stay here.
So a couple of young players involved on the final day. What do you make of the current crop of young players coming through the academy, and how important are they for the future of the club?
Yeah, I think having a successful academy is so important to all clubs. I think the lifeblood of the team should come from your academy prospects, and yeah, I was delighted to get young Sol on. He's given him his first appearances in the league under us. Thought he's done really well for the under-21s, watched them loads of times. Wasn't easy to give him an opportunity before that, because I say the pressure that we were under. It's not fair to throw a 17-year-old kid into that type of environment. But I thought when he came on for that half an hour at home in the last game, he was outstanding. Thought he played really well and showed that he's got loads of potential and has got the attributes to play at this level. And then Nathan Lowe, say, who's been with us for a bit longer, again, would have liked to have given him more game time and more opportunities in the running, but it just wasn't possible. But I think, again, everyone can see the attributes that he's got, and for a centre forward to come through your academy and yet play the appearances that he did, then he can be proud of his season. Now next year we have to make sure we get the plan right for Nathan and he continues his development.
You've spoken in the past about the importance of being a good teammate. In terms of players that will come into the club during the summer, what sort of character traits do you hope to see from them?
Well, first of all, people who can improve the squad. So we have a big squad this year, and sometimes that was quite difficult to manage because of the numbers that we had. So we want to make sure that we bring in people that are only going to help the team and improve, and not just get numbers in for the sake of it. I think that's dead important. And then, yeah, doing background checks and getting to know people and going to meet players face to face before we bring them to the club and figure out what their characters are like and what are they going to be like as a teammate is, for me, one of the most important things now. Any player that's playing in the Championship has obviously got ability, and we wouldn't want to bring them to the club, as I say, if they're not going to improve the team. But personality-wise, it's going to have to work, it has to gel, because it's going to be another tough season. It's going to be a season that doesn't always go to plan, both individually and as a team and as a club. So you need good characters to get you through them tough moments.
Aside from recruitment, what other aspects do we need to get right between now and the start of next season?
Well, there's a few things. Obviously, we need to, obviously, this time of the season is good for the supporters and the players, and some staff can have a little bit of time off, but it's important that we reflect on what's happened in the previous season, and then figure out the areas in the club of what we can improve in the short term, and then in the medium term and long term as well. So recruitment is obviously going to be key, and that's one of the main areas I'll be focusing on with John and with Jared and the recruitment team. We've got to make sure that we get that right, but John's got a big job on. He's obviously new into the club as well, and got a big job on to get everything else right behind the scenes, because it's constantly moving, it's constantly evolving, and yeah, we all want the same thing. We all want Stoke to be doing well in the future.
What can the players expect, and what will you expect of the players during pre-season?
The pre-season is going to be a tough pre-season. We've already spoken to the players about that. I would imagine it'll be one of the most difficult that they'll have experienced, because of how we like to do it. We believe in our team has to be a fit team, a team that can play at high energy and can sustain intensity levels. Now, I feel as though we've seen that towards the end of the season. We've seen as though we were scoring goals later on in games, and that's all stuff that you can build on in the pre-season. That's where you get your foundations, and Elliot Turner and the rest of the performance team will be working so hard on getting the players fit over the summer. They've been given off-season programmes to follow, and we explained how important it is to follow them programmes, because if you don't come back in good shape and we start the pre-season at the intensity as we want, you can break down, and no player wants to break down in pre-season because it affects the rest of the campaign moving forward. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
What will those concentrated few weeks on the training pitches allow you to achieve?
A bit of everything, getting the players, getting them fit, figuring out how we're going to play tactically. Obviously, you've got the players in for a long time, 6 weeks of preparation before you get into the first game of the season. It's sometimes in the Championship it can be difficult to work on too much detail, especially when there's 3 game weeks. But in the off season, you can spend as long as you want in that, because you get them in pretty much every day. A few days off here and there, but as I say, it's time to lay the foundations, get organised and get ready to go.
And finally, what's your message to the supporters as they start to look ahead to next season?
My message would be, obviously, enjoy the summer, knowing that we're going to be in the Championship again. And the message would be, thanks for the support. I know it wasn't easy throughout the whole campaign, but I'm hoping that they've seen enough, certainly in the second half of the season, to suggest that this is a team that they can get behind, a team that we're going to try and put out there that represents the supporters and works hard and tries to get good results, plays some good football and improves, does better for Stoke City next year, because that's what we're all desperate to achieve.